fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell at before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, good to say I dabbled in stand-up for something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Woo! Welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr Podcast. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and Rumble, and Rockfin. So if you're listening on iTunes, or I guess anywhere that you can leave a review, leave us a nice review with a lot of stars. It is a rainy Wednesday, November 30th. Before I bring on our fabulous guest, I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor. They were also the proud sponsor of the 2022 Orlando Content House. Big fan of these guys. And that's right, I can cue up my own music. Okay. Roof. Food prices are insane. I can't with this music. Okay. This is slightly better. I'm going to do this one. All right, final answer. Yeah, now I'm in the mood to talk about crypto. Guys, the recession is underway. Fuel is through the roof. Food prices are insane, and people have begun to lose their homes. But there's no reason to be scared because recessions are the easiest time to make money. Take the last recession. Those who invested in property and stocks more than doubled their money inside of 2 years. But no market rose like crypto, where people made 10, 50, even 100 times over the same period. That's what James McMahon did on his Crypto with James YouTube channel. He told his 22,000 subscribers to invest in the same 26 coins that he did. Had you invested $100 into each, you'd be in profit for more than $123,000. His top pick of the year, a crypto coin called Phantom, went up a staggering 692 times. Remember, this is all public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify it for yourself. James will be sharing every coin he buys during this recession on his Copy My Crypto membership site. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't have to know a thing about crypto or how to invest. You simply copy along and you can get started today. It's just that easy. To join the 2,800 members who copy James, go to copymycrypto.com/Mayr. That's copymycrypto.com/MAYR. It's your call. You can thrive in this recession or be another victim. Go and visit the site and read every word now. Oh, yeah. Guys, I got some stand-up dates coming up. If you are in the New Jersey area at all, come see me this Saturday. I'm going to be in Vineland, New Jersey at Casey Ray's. That's this Saturday, December 3rd. Casey Ray's Sports Bar and Pub, 8 o'clock show out in Vineland, New Jersey. Then I got Gino Bisconti's birthday show. I think that's going to be in New York City, December 29th at New York Comedy Club. Or Stand Up New York. I have to check. And then we have DabbleCon, first weekend of February up in Rochester. Comedians of the Dabbleverse, live podcast tapings, a meet and greet, and the Dabby Awards, which will be held at Comedy at the Carlson in beautiful, tropical Rochester, New York. That's February 3rd and 4th. And then I got February 24th and 25th. I'm doing a weekend in San Diego at the Mic Drop Comedy Club. Get your tickets at ChrissieMayr.com. Would love to see you at one of these live shows. And if you're thinking, Chrissie, why don't you come to where I live? Figure out whatever the club is or a venue that you like that's near you. Get your little butt on Twitter. Tweet at them. Tag me. so that these venues know that there is a desire for me to go perform there, basically. You can do that, can't you? Can't you? You can. You know what else we can talk about really quickly before I bring in our fabulous guest? Cushy dreams. Ooh, what a it's the holidays, which means everyone is stressed out and it's hard to take time for yourself, especially if you're anxious and you don't know what to do and you don't want to eat a bunch of pies and stuff. It's gonna make you fat, but like you want to chill. I think Cushy Dreams is the solution for you. Cushy Dreams is #1 for smokable CBD flower and Delta 8. I'm talking CBD, boys and girls. They have these fantastic pre-rolls, expertly done. They smell amazing. Woo! That's a stinky one. They have different strains like relax, create, hustle, peace, energy, dreams. So whatever you want to do with your day or night, Cushy Dreams has you covered. Not only do they make these kick-ass pre-rolls, but they also do gummies. These are Delta 9 THC gummies. Yes, Delta 9 THC. That's the real deal. OG THC. It ships legally right to you. Each gummy contains 10 milligrams of THC. They come in 4 euphoric flavors: strawberry, sour watermelon, green apple, and tangerine. Ooh, give yourself that warm, giggly, fun feeling for the holidays and relax while you're doing it. Maybe take one and take a bath. Maybe take one and lay down on the couch. Whatever you like to do with yourself to relax. Go to cushydreams.com right now. That's KUSHY dreams.com. At checkout, use promo code CMP to get 20% off your next order. Get your gummies with promo code CMP and get 20% off today. Get yourself a one-way ticket to Relaxy Town, USA. This is some jazzy music. You know what else is jazzy? Our next guest. You've definitely seen her on Simpcast. You've definitely seen her at the Content House, the first one or the second one. We're friends. And if you don't like that, well, that's your problem. She's a hot blonde. She's super fun. There's a lot to catch up on. She's a Harry Potter enthusiast, content creator, diva, all things. Ashton Birdie.
Hi. How's it going?
It's good. I was like, I'm going to just bring you in before I bomb the intro some more. There we go. There's my surround. There's my frame. Hi, Ashton.
Hi, how's it going? That's quite the intro.
I'm enjoying the little ivy wall behind you.
Thank you. I'm still working on it. I want like tons of ivy, just like a whole threshold of just. I want to look
like you're outside. You want to be like in the jungle, basically.
Yeah, basically. It's exactly what I want to do, actually.
I want to look like I live in the middle of a hoarding situation. That's what I've got going on here. My sort of very deliberate mix of toys and things that people send me and books that I haven't read, but that I want to impress people by showing that I have books. I do own them. So I think I'm doing that.
I'm definitely trying to hide the fact that I'm in a hoarding situation for sure, but at least you're honest, Christy.
What do you have you ever hoarded anything?
Okay, so I'm this weird thing at this thing where like I'm a collector of collections. So like I collect books, but they have to be like aesthetically pleasing books, right? So like if I want to read a book, I'll listen to an audiobook version of it. But if I want a hard copy of it, I will search for an aesthetically pleasing version of it because I want to look pretty on my bookshelf. I mean, I'll still read it, right? But if I'm going to have a hard copy of it, I want it to be pretty looking.
That's very legit. I think there's a whole market for that. Like I've seen they I forget what company is, but they sell the classics, but just in kind of like muted tones or neutrals.
Yeah.
And it'll be like Picture in the Rye, but like in a lovely like beige,
like a leather bound sort of, you know.
Yes, leather bound mahogany smells. Many leather bound books is what we're going for. The chat gets it. I wish I had more time to read. I mean, I'll start a book, I'll stop it, excited about a new book. Sometimes I'll start a book, I'll leave it in a purse. The purse will be lost for months. and
How do
then
you lose a purse? Like in your own house or like on a train, or what do you mean lose a
I
purse?
will I'll shove it into the back of a closet. Like I'll use a funky purse that I don't really use that much because I'll be
Mhm.
feeling fun one day and I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna take this into the city and I take a book with it. And then I'm like, well, where's that book on the trans movement? And that like I'm currently missing one of my favorite trans books right now because I think I just left it in a purse or in a car somewhere and I don't want to rebuy it.
You're gonna open purse one day and have a whole like library, like it's like Narnia, but instead of like the
Yeah.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, it's like the library in the purse. You just step into the purse and walk down the staircase, and there's a whole like Beauty and the Beast library at your fingertips.
It's so
So
funny because when I was in college, I was I'm sure I've told you this before. I was a women's studies minor. Like I was literally like a trained basically feminist. I had basically a minor in being a feminist. However, all these years later, I still really love to read books about like the trans movement. And I have like Irreversible Damage here by Abigail Schreier, also about the trans movement. Like I still am fascinated by these same topics, but like my understanding of them has shifted so much. Like I went from kind of woke, kind of SJW to now anti-woke, but I'm still, I guess the underlying constant is like the psychology aspect of it. Like what is going on with people.
I mean, you
And I,
could have a middle ground.
yeah,
You could appreciate movements, you know, that the left and liberal side of things have brought, because there are some good things from the left. There are good things that happen liberal in society. Let's not pretend there hasn't been. You can
like
also
homeless
recognize,
shelters. Those are good.
and you can also recognize that a lot of, you know, what is being pushed in pop culture and what is being done to sort of focus in on these ideologies. They're just hurting story building and character building, and our favorite sources of media. You can definitely recognize, you can, two things can be the same thing, two things can be right at once. So
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. You've kind of like you've been evolving, like I think your sort of brand or what you want to be or what you want your message to be. Like
I mean,
you started out maybe more of a political type person, and then it seemed like you wanted to get away from that. I mean, the one constant has been Harry Potter though through the years.
well, Harry Potter is like it is my special interest. It's definitely the thing that like I've always loved since I was a kid. It's something that like you can ask me anything about Harry Potter and I'll know the answer to. But I definitely started off in the world by mistake. It was never like my intention growing up to get into politics. It sort of just happened, and and there's a whole story behind that. But basically, and I know a lot of people now are like, "Oh, Ashton's a liberal, Ashton's a lefty," and the thing is, I try to explain to people, I'm definitely, I guess, technically more left wing than I used to be, but I don't really have a label for myself because the truth is, I don't think I know enough about politics to actually call myself anything. I'm still learning. So if that means me talking to different people with different perspectives and trying to keep an open mind to people on all sides and all ideologies, um, that's kind of like where I'm at right now. I just don't really believe in the left versus right paradigm anymore. I think that's actually dividing people way too much. I think there's people are way too complex to be put in these two different boxes. I just don't really have
Yeah.
a myself. I don't really identify as either left or right, but I would rather talk to people of all ideologies and all sides and be open-minded to everyone than sort of just close myself off and, you know, repeat rats in Venezuela over and over again. Um,
It is divisive, and both sides are guilty of this kind of like, well, I'm going to kick this person out because if they don't agree with every single thing that I
mhm,
agree with. And
right.
so there's a lot of people like left in the middle, like, oh, well, I mean, we're still in the duopoly. There's still only Republicans and Democrats generally running
Yeah.
for most things. So
And
you're
nothing
kind of forced.
changes. Nothing
Yeah.
changes. That's the thing is, I think it's so funny how we have this concept of left versus right, right? Like, oh, my neighbor's a Democrat, my neighbor's a Republican, and we're fighting each other. But the funny thing is, you have these two groups of people voting for these two different parties, and they hate each other, despite the fact that they're controlled and their lives are being ruined by
Mm,
the same elite system. You know, whether it's Democrat or Republican, at the end of the day, it's still the same elite system that's giving us false promises, sending us to war, living off the corporate monopolies, giving into lobbyists. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all being screwed over by the same system, but we're so focused on Democrat versus Republican that we're fighting our own neighbors for it. And that's my biggest issue with politics. And that's kind of like why I think the whole thing's a con job, and I don't really
mm.
dabble in it as much as I used to. And especially also because I was in my early 20s, and a lot of people are like, oh man, Ashton changed her opinions, therefore she must be a grifter. But the truth is that I was in my early 20s. I mean, my 20s is the time for me to have my mind go all over the place and kind of figure things out. If you were the same person that you were at 21, 22 years old, please see a therapist.
That's bad.
Yeah, I just, and again, I don't really think left versus right. I don't really have a stamp on whatever political party or political movement because I don't think I know enough. I would rather admit that I know nothing about this stuff than try to pretend I do. At one point, I thought I knew everything, but that's because when you're 20-something years old, you think you know everything about the world when you really don't. And I think I'm just sort of trying to focus on things that truly make me happy and things that I actually know about. But I'm willing to learn more politics. I'm willing to learn from people who actually know this stuff and listen more than I talk, if you will. So
yeah, that's a healthy place to be. So you're single now. That is exciting.
Yeah. It's definitely it's funny because when people found out, they were actually I'm not single anymore, which was an interesting turn of events. But yeah, I am. When I was, for that short time period. Well, it's weird. It's an interesting situation. But
What
when
she's
I was
trying to say is the window has closed, guys. You had your chance and you didn't even know it.
The window didn't last very long. What's funny because people actually had no idea that Clint and I broke up. And that was like a year-long relationship almost. And it was funny because people didn't realize that we broke up. And it's kind of funny how much people know about a relationship I would have had like 5 years or like 4 or 5 years ago. I forget how long ago it was. And it was like maybe a 3-4 month long relationship.
Wow.
And everybody knows about that because there was so much drama and so much toxicity and so much chaos. But like a healthy relationship that lasts about a year, that ends because two people just realize they want to be in different places in their life and they're just different people and they have a mature breakup. Nobody hears about it or knows about it. And nobody talks about it. But yeah, I have nothing but respect for Clint. I think him and I were just two very different people and like where we wanted to be in life. And I couldn't be in Miami anymore. I couldn't do it. It's just, I'm not a city person. Honestly, you would think that Miami has like all of this great stuff to do, but if you don't drink or like really go out or go clubbing, there's nothing to do in Miami. Not anymore, no.
What happened?
Sorry, my camera.
Something happened. Something must have happened. No.
Honestly, I feel like I was kind of drinking because everyone around me was drinking, so I felt that I had to drink. And I mean, I enjoy, like, I like the taste of red wine a little bit. I just feel like, one, I think it contributes to my anxiety. Because the first content house, I realized that when even like with a glass of wine, I was getting anxiety during the first because you were there. I had severe anxiety at the first content house. And I wasn't really sure what was going on. And when I just stopped drinking, a lot of it really helped my mental health and sort of just how I perceive myself. And I'm not saying, no one should drink. I'm just saying that's how, it works for me. And I think that works, best.
We got a lot of non-drinkers. We got a lot of fellow losers in the chat that also don't drink. So you're definitely not alone.
To be fair, Chrissie, you have a talent when it comes.
I also can't get hammered either. Like when I go, I talk a big game, but I really tap out after 4 drinks. Like that's a big night for me.
But I feel like you're a happy drinker though, because when I was with you at the content houses, I mean, you were all over. I mean, you were literally falling over the couches. I mean, but you were having a good time. Whereas
the first night I cartwheeled my head right into the coffee table.
That's right.
I know how to have fun. Okay. I can have fun by myself.
Who needs Disney World and just cartwheel your head into a coffee table? But I think like maybe after 1 or 2 glasses of wine, I'm fine. But the problem is that like when I'm like partying with people or hanging out with people, I don't stop at a glass of wine. And it doesn't like, I don't, hit too hard, but I do get anxiety. I already have social anxiety as is. Plus with, being on the spectrum, I do get overstimulated by things around me. So alcohol just adds to that. And I don't know. I think I'm just naturally I honestly feel like I'm sort of what people call a natural high. So like if I just don't touch anything, I'm like, it's
fun.
Yeah.
You're naturally fun, Ashton. No, I
Thank
kid. You
you.
really don't need it. And like there are, of course, I've gone long stretches without drinking, and you very quickly realize like you really don't need it. You're just like,
Mhm.
oh, as long as you're hydrated. Like a lot of times, like I'll go for like a high noon when I really should just have a water, and just like have a seltzer when you're out. Have a freaking cranberry juice, whatever. If you have a
I love cranberry
UTI,
juice.
have a cran.
Even for not like if you don't have one of those.
You
But
can
honestly,
always find a substitute. It's like you don't
you know
really,
what it is that
yeah.
I hate ocean spray. Like I can't do cranberry
Oh,
cocktail. I
no,
think it's
no, yeah, don't
nasty.
do that.
I need pure pressed cranberry juice. Like, oh my gosh,
You
I
need
really
that
want.
tart.
Yeah, I like that tart. It's good. I don't want the I want that sugar. Ugh. Ugh.
So you were had a very healthy year-long relationship. You're out of it. Do you guys still talk? Would you guys ever work together?
I would
Right.
absolutely work for Clint. So like, and that's the thing is, I'm not gonna lie, like our relationship at times felt more like, and here's the thing, and this is no disrespect, Clint is a very business-oriented person. He's one of the hardest workers I know. He's just always at his computer getting things done. And I think for me, it just felt like there were times it felt like a business relationship more than anything. And again, we're just two different people, but I would absolutely work with him. Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
if he ever like
Good
I'm
balance.
thinking about starting my own podcast. If he ever wanted to come on and just like trash talk me as his like ex or whatever, like just like reveal like, she was bad at washing dishes or something. I don't know. I just wanted to say
Yeah,
things about
call
like,
it Ashton's exes.
I could only get a few on though. That's the thing. The one that people would really want to come on. But I mean, like that's the thing is like Ashton's exes would be an interesting segment for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
most of my exes and I, we still get along after breaking up, so maybe I could do it actually.
That's good. That was like
Maybe.
there still is a podcast called Guys We Fucked, and that was the basic premise. And then they did run out of between the two of them, they ran out of, people they had slept with.
The
And
problem is,
started doing interviews.
if I did bring on my exes, the ones that people like, the problem is the majority of the exes I have, and I, the ones that I still talk to at least, there was no drama in the relationship. There was no drama in the breakups. So people wouldn't want to hear that. People wouldn't want to hear all that stuff. People want the
Yeah.
drama. They want the entertainment, So it's just like, I don't know. It would be an interesting thing to do to have like to actually have a conversation like, hey, what were like some things that I did in the relationship that really bothered the absolute
You know
hell
what's
out of
funny? Leave it to a girl to like do a podcast like that. Like, do you ever see a man starting a podcast like that, going up to his exes that are girls and be like, "How could I have done this better?" Like, I just feel like that's such a woman thing.
I
A woman
feel
impulse.
like there were so many things that I could have done differently in relationships, reacted more maturely, done things differently. I mean, I'm still in my 20s, so like everyone I meet who like went through their 20s already, who's like past their 30 stage, is like, yeah, like what you did kind of makes sense because you're in your early 20s. There are just so many things I wish I can go back on and think, okay, how would I have done things differently? How would I have like, not stayed in the relationship per se, but like how could I have been more mature handling certain situations? Because I feel like there are a lot of situations in my life where I was just very emotional, very overheated, could have done better. It'd be interesting just to like get that perspective and actually, I'm obviously learning from it because I know where I went wrong, but I would actually like to sit down and be like, what's your perspective on this? Like, what do you think could be different? I don't know. It's
I think about that too. Like I think about my ex before Frank. I'm like, man, I really did not need to be in that 2.5 years. Like everything that was wrong with the relationship was all laid out pretty much right away. But I believe that God or the universe or like whatever's out there is an entity that serves you up the same lesson over and over until you learn it. And that is why sometimes people will go for the same type of guy or girl, or it reminds them of like their toxic dad or mom, or it's like they're just trying to like fill a hole. Well, multiple holes.
I was talking with my best friend. I was speaking with my best friend about this, and I was telling her, like, isn't it weird that I've never actually dated my type? And she goes, yeah, that is kind of weird. You've never dated my physical type, never dated my personality type. And I was talking with her, and she told me she thinks it's because when I was younger, I was not the popular girl. I was not the girl's boys asked out. I was not the girl. Like, I was a band geek. I had blue hair. I skateboarded. I looked like Garth from Wayne's World. Like, guys were not going to take me to prom, okay? And I liked this one guy for so long.
Did you not go to prom?
I cried. because the person who asked me apparently asked me as a joke, and so I ended up just going to prom alone, and it
Oh
was
my
not.
God!
Yeah,
Let's name this name. Who asked you to prom as a joke?
this guy named Michael. He was, and I was like, oh, okay, sure, because I never expected to get asked to prom before, and so this guy asked me to prom, and then just didn't go and told me he'd meet me there, and then I went and because it's I thought, oh, that's a little weird. I would think he wants to get the limo or to go to go on a limo with me or something like most people are doing, but I guess I'll just meet him there. And so I rode in my friend's limo, and yeah, it was really
He just wasn't there, or he was there with someone else?
Oh, he was there with someone else.
What a fucking asshole. Michael, I hope you're watching this, and I hope you regret that decision every day of your stupid life.
Oh, he subscribed to my OnlyFans, actually.
Oh, really?
Me.
Michael? Isn't that interesting?
Because he messaged me. Actually, it's funny, actually. There were 3 boys that went to high school with me who used to bully the absolute hell out of me in school. And they're all subscribed to my OnlyFans. And they're all messaging me, begging me for nude photos of my boobs.
Wow.
So it's pretty interesting. They're not going to get them, but
yeah, Michael regrets it so hard, and that's coming from a mannequin.
But basically, I never dated my actual type because I was so I purposely would date boys that I didn't like very much because I thought it'd be easier to deal with if things happened, or because I just felt like the guys that I actually were attracted to right away wouldn't even ever go for me because I still have that insecurity that I do.
I know that feeling. Yeah, that's very real. It's easier cleanup because he's well, I wasn't barely into them to begin with, so it's you think it's gonna be less heartbreak.
The guy that I'm talking to now, it's so funny because he is to a T of what I've always been attracted to growing up. So his personality,
who would
his
play him in
looks.
A movie?
Oh my gosh, he looks exactly like Spencer Reid from Criminal Minds, to a T. Exactly.
Spencer Reid. And because I've met this person. Oh my God, he does.
He looks exactly like him. And I was in love with Spencer Reid from Criminal Minds. I was obsessed.
Short hair or long hair?
He's got short hair. Short hair. But honestly, either one, he could easily.
Wow. What a hunk. This is your type. This looks like someone who also would be into Harry Potter.
I like the nerdy, book smart, probably was a band nerd too growing up.
He looks like he may have a trust fund. So that's nice.
Matthew Gray Gubler? I don't think he needs a trust fund.
Spencer Reid? Okay. That's good. That's good. You're with a good man. How long have you guys been together now?
Just a little, not very long. We became official a few days ago, actually, because I spent Thanksgiving with him and he introduced me to his grandmother as his girlfriend, and I was
was it the first time you dropped the G-bomb?
Wow. Yeah, to his grandmother. And I was kind of taken back. I was oh,
that's cute.
Yeah, so yeah,
I like that. I like that the holidays sort of pressure people into stating, you know what I mean, what someone means to them.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Don't waste this girl's fucking time, okay? Get it together. So you have your old exes simping for you on OnlyFans. What kind of stuff do you have on OnlyFans for people who are not familiar?
So, my OnlyFans started off as a joke. The first thing you see is a video of me dressed as a nun and that holding a sign says Jesus loves you, and I wasn't going to do anything with it, but then I realized, because now that I live in Orlando, I basically just dedicated sort of this move to Orlando to doing all the things I never got to do during my early 20s. I feel I should have done it during my early 20s, which is ironic because I no longer drink, but I basically got really into cosplay. So a lot of my cosplay is on there. I am planning on doing a podcast from OnlyFans because OnlyFans actually takes less in tips money than YouTube does. So
less than 30% then?
Yeah, they take 20%.
Oh,
so it makes more sense. Plus, they don't censor anything. I can talk about whatever I want on streams on OnlyFans, and they don't take anything from me. They don't knock me off. The only thing
Nothing?
I can talk about anything on OnlyFans
Wow.
and they will not censor me. The only things I can't say are PayPal and Venmo, obviously, because they don't want you giving out your PayPal and Venmo because they want that 20%.
Oh. What if
So,
PayPal is your safe word? Like, what if you have a
yeah, that's a good
kinky
point.
scenario, where like Venmo, or like a kinky scenario where like Elmo has a brother that's really interested in finance and the brother's name is Venmo. I don't know. That's a rare case.
You gotta say Vimo or Payment Pals.
Name is Venmo. You're like, sorry,
But,
we gotta get her.
well, and the thing is, like, the reason I want to use it more too is because, like, throughout my entire 20s, I wanted to do things like pinup shoots, because I think you've done a pinup shoot actually. I think we've talked about it like on
Yeah,
your show.
a
I've
couple
always
years ago.
wanted
I want to do another one.
They're so fun. They're so fun. So I want to do like pinup shoots. I want to do like Moulin Rouge type shoots, like things like that. Like, I just think I want to get dressed up and pretty and like look hot while I'm still in my prime. And I figured, well, if I have, this platform where, I'm basically sitting there on stream and talking about whatever and just hanging out with people, I might as well put, those shoots that probably would have gone on Instagram anyway, because there's nothing too raunchy about those type of shoots anyway. And just put them there and if people want to look at them, they can look at them there. So
that's cute. I like that.
I don't. The thing is, I know a lot of people are upset with me, I guess, because like, oh, Ashton's going down the wrong path because she has OnlyFans. And it's funny to me because what I'm posting on OnlyFans is really no different than what I was posting when I was in politics. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend my political career wasn't based off my boobs alone. Like, let's be honest. If I was not attractive
That's a
girl,
great quote.
I would have never had a career in politics. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm some political mastermind. I even admit that I don't know enough about politics to even be labeling myself as anything. So to pretend that like I've never basically did this before is ridiculous. I mean, oh no, she has titties. What are we going to do now, guys? Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid. Okay, and as someone who is frequenting the parks in Orlando, it's interesting because, this is an article. Is the Magic Kingdom losing its twinkle? Disney parks still packing them in, but profits are waning. Do you go to the Disney parks or just Universal or kind of both?
So I have a Universal pass, no blockout dates, anything. I have like the premier Universal pass. I was going to get the premier Disney pass, but they're not selling them right now because Disney really doesn't want to sell any more annual passes because they're trying to make money off of people. So I have like a little dinky one that lets me go in on the weekdays. But the thing is that Disney actually is in trouble because with Disney parks, they're kind of cheapening their attractions and cheapening their merchandise and cheapening everything about the Disney corporation that made people love it. So, I mean, Disney has a cult following at this point. Like, it's pretty obvious. We have Disney adults are trending on TikTok. But even the people who are super diehard fans, even like myself, we're kind of looking at the parks and we're looking at the movies and the things that they're giving us and thinking to ourselves, why is this so cheap and why are we spending so much money for it? Whereas Universal, it's a much better deal for an annual pass to go to Universal. And they're building better and bigger attractions, and it's more immersive. Whereas Disney is it's funny because back like 20 years ago, Universal was known for sort of having the cheap 3D rides, and Disney was known for having the immersive experiences. Whereas now it's almost flipped. Whereas Disney is still charging more, but they're making these dinky experiences that people are just like, why would I wait 60 minutes in line for this? And now Universal is actually taking the time to build these. I mean, have you been to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter? Like, I know I mentioned Harry Potter a lot, but it is amazing.
I was on the, what the hell was his name? The guy that died, his magical scooter ride. What the hell was it called?
Hagrid. It's like you're on a motorcycle. That's my favorite roller coaster ever made.
Was
and not just because it's Harry Potter. Not just because it's Harry Potter. It's really good roller coaster. You feel like you're actually on a roller. You actually feel like you're on a motorcycle.
You really feel like you're driving it. Yeah.
It's so cool. It's amazing.
It's super cool. Yeah. And we had the butter beer. Like, we went and took like Frank's son. Like, I'd been a couple times because for the different cons and just hanging out with like geeks and gamer type guys out there. But it is fun to like bring a new person there. And like, we had now they have frozen butter beer, whereas before
Oh,
they just had
so
it
good.
like on the rocks.
Have you had
And
hot butter beer though?
no,
So you
that
have to
sounds
get that in Diagon
X-rated.
Alley. You have to get that in
Okay.
Diagon Alley next door, and it's 1,000 times better. If you're lactose intolerant, you can't have it because they don't make it without the cream, unfortunately, but it's still really good.
It's basically what, like a cream soda,
It's a cream soda, and there's
like
actually
butterscotch.
butterscotch in there, but with the hot butter beer, it's heated up like butterscotch soda, and then it's heated with the cream
Ooh.
topping in it, and it's so good. It's like
It's like a marshmallow topping they have. Like it's super
yes.
thick.
So good. It's honestly like I will have a bad day, like if I'm like overstressed from work or getting projects done for people, because I edit for YouTubers as like my full time thing. If I'm just too stressed out, I will literally drive down to Universal to get myself some hot butter
Oh,
beer and then come back. Or
wow.
maybe I'll ride Hagrid's as well. I don't know. Then I'll
That's
come
a
back and get
flex
my
right
friend.
there. Just be like, oh, I just got this on my lunch hour. So that's
It is
interesting
nice.
that Universal and Disney have kind of flipped. And do you think Disney they're not keeping up parks wise with what they're offering, or is it just a lot of this bad press finally catching up to them?
I think it's funny. The press is willing to criticize them for their treatment of their employees, which is horrible. I have two roommates who actually work for the Walt Disney Company, and the way the Disney Company treats their employees is horrible. So the press will definitely talk about that, and they'll talk about how how Disney is really just catering too much to basically taking people's like wallets away from them, but they won't criticize them when it comes to developing bad movies, TV shows, or even attractions at this point. Because so back in 2014, there was this influx of what I call Disney vloggers. Like they will just go to the parks, film themselves at the parks, and they'd get millions and millions of views. Well, a lot of these vloggers used to be way more honest about things in the parks and the movies and the TV shows. But now that they're actually being paid by the Disney company and given perks by the Disney company, they are afraid to properly criticize Disney as a company and the things they are doing because they don't want to lose those perks. Because they're basically being told, tell the people that we're doing good, or you're losing this privilege. A great example of this was the Star Cruiser. When the Star Cruiser came out, a lot of these YouTubers who are paid by Disney or invited by Disney went to the Star Cruiser resort, and the ones that I know personally told me, oh my gosh, like that was a horrible experience. Do not waste your money on this. This is absolutely ridiculous. The lack of detail is appalling, but then they'll go and write an article or do a whole YouTube video saying how amazing the experience was because Disney
Wow.
tells them to. And then they invite I'm involved with the cosplay community now, and Disney, Warner Brothers will invite cosplayers to go to their premieres for different movies and TV shows, and you'll just hear these people talking, in the background saying, "Oh my gosh, like it could have been done so much better. Like this isn't how it was done in the books. This isn't how it was done, in the comic, yada yada yada." But then they'll go to the public and say, "Oh, it was so amazing. It was so great." And because I remember her name is, I forget her name, but she did a great video on the Vampire Diaries that got her really big. Her name is Jenny. Let me actually find her name on here. Vampire Diaries video.
Maybe I know.
That's the thing is, so her name is Jenny Nicholson, and she did a video. She got invited by Warner Brothers to go see The Crimes of Grindelwald, and she was basically invited for free to go see the premiere. They flew her out and everything. And then when she was done watching it, she came back and made a video and said, I have no idea what that movie was supposed to be. I have no idea what that movie was supposed to be. It made no sense. It was all over the place. She did a very fair critique of the movie. And because of that, Warner Brothers no longer invites her to premieres anymore.
Oof. Okay, so there actually have been people that have had their privileges taken away.
Right. And so that's a huge issue because, and I'm meeting I've met a lot of amazing, very big name cosplayers who have become great friends of mine over the time of moving here. And, I don't completely blame them because at that point, that's how they're paying off their mortgages. That's how they're paying for healthcare. They can't say no to this billion-dollar company who is responsible for their entire livelihood. Some of these people have children that they're taking care of, and so the problem with this is it's sort of it's actually hurting the companies more than anything, because what they're doing is they're paying people to give positive reviews that are falsely positive. So then when the public goes to experience these things, they wonder why they wasted their money on this. They have poor reviews on everything that won't be published because,
Wow.
heaven forbid we get an honest, critique of something.
Or
in the
almost do the people feel like, well, I guess I'm too poor to enjoy this place like this reviewer or this vlogger did that had all
There
these.
are times like that, but it's just really sad too, because when you're like a fan like myself, who is obviously a huge fan of things like Harry Potter, when I go into a movie theater, I can't help but point out all the inaccuracies that don't line up with the books and the lore and the world building. And of course, Warner, I keep getting it mixed up because Universal is a theme park, but Warner Brothers does Harry Potter. Warner Brothers would never hire a person like me. They would never invite me to premieres, but the truth is I am the exact type of person Warner Brothers should be hiring. Because if you want to talk about DC, I can talk about DC Comics all day. I know nothing about Marvel, but DC I know tons about. You want to talk about Harry Potter? I know even more about Harry Potter. We'll go into a great deal about Harry Potter. I could actually help these people
Wow.
explain to them what the fans and the fan base wants from these franchises. But instead, they don't want to listen to the critiques because they're afraid it's going to hurt them. When in reality, the critiques are actually going to help them build and make more money. So it doesn't make much sense, and it's going to hurt all of these different companies in the long run.
I didn't realize that. Like, yeah, you could be straight up hired as a Harry Potter expert right now.
I should be hired as a Harry Potter expert.
They're missing out. From Tiff, hey Ashton, hey Chrissy, I miss you both, and I hope you are doing well. I listen to your streams while doing chores. Oh my God, Tiff!
You met Tiffany, right? When you were
yes, she's a
old
sweetheart.
Timcast employee. Love her.
Yes, what kind of chores are you doing?
Knowing her, she's probably doing the dishes.
Okay.
Or the laundry. That's the only thing I've ever seen her do.
I'm like so into making the bed. I get up, it's the first thing I do, and I feel like I've already accomplished something.
You're on that Jordan Peter lobster life.
I'm on that Jordan Peterson thing. Mad dearest Ashton, you like MN guys? And Chrissy, when are you doing a show near Minnesota?
Minnesota? Oh, Minnesota. Minnesota, guys. I've never been to Minnesota, actually.
Me neither.
It's funny. I hate making the bed, but Andrew will come over and he'll just start making the bed for me.
Like while you're in it?
No, I'll be too busy, I'll just I actually did make my bed just for you, Chrissy.
Oh wow.
That lobster life just for you. But whenever he comes over, he just starts making the bed for me. So I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I get like very anal. Like I tuck in the sheets. Like I want it to look perfect. It's so weird. Like if I'm gonna clean, I'm gonna like do it, which is bad because then I become like perfectionist. Tall, dark, and gruesome. Much love to Ash from your Scottish pal. Glad to see you're annoying all the weirdos. Why do you annoy the weirdos? Yeah, well, how do you trigger people?
I am, here's the thing is I used to care a lot what people think about me. A lot. Like I used to care way too much what people think about me up until like recently. It was funny actually. Your fiance gave me a huge talking to about this. He's like, you gotta stop. Yeah, Frank has become my therapist in a weird, wacky way. But he's like, you gotta stop caring what people think about you, right? Because people are not gonna like me no matter what. There are gonna be people that don't like me, who are obsessed with me, who are in love with me. There's people who are still mad that I won't marry them. Like it's just how it is. I'm gonna make people angry. I'm gonna make people happy. I'm gonna make people sad. It's what comes with life. You could be the sweetest peach in the world, and there's still that one person who doesn't like peaches. So
they'll still be like, well, she still has a pit. And you could bust your ass trying to please other people and it still wouldn't be enough. So it's like you might as well just like try to really be in touch with what's going to make yourself happy.
Yeah. I'm just doing everything and going to make myself happy. I just feel like I sort of heard the word no all throughout my early 20s. And I really just didn't want to like make people disappointed in me. I think that's like why what kind of like ran me through my political career, right? Because I had all of these older people tell me I was doing something good with my life. Like, oh man, you're so good at this. You're so good at this. And I had never had an older person tell me I was good at something. My mom and I did not have a good relationship. My dad was very distant. Like they were there, but they never told me I was doing a good job. And I think that really affected me in my youth. And so when I had all these older people tell me, oh, wow, I saw you on Fox News. Oh, wow, I saw your video on this. You did so good. I just really became a huge people pleaser in that aspect. And I sort of just lost who I was. Again, I was in my early 20s, but because I'm sort of out of that phase now, I definitely want to dedicate my time and energy to doing things I genuinely want to do. I never got to do. So
Yeah,
I think that
that's
makes people
why
angry.
that's why I talked so much about I never got to skip it when I was younger, and apparently I've been talking about it a lot because my mod NVIDIA sent me a skip it. First of all, the actual skip its have been
Oh my
discontinued since
gosh.
like the mid-aughts. Like I think they went out around like 2007 or 8 or something. So I just opened this morning. It's a real live. Well, it's the next best thing. It's not a skip it. It's a what did they call this? It's a very Chinese kids ankle skip ball because it's been discontinued. This is as real as
I like how
I
there's a
need.
flying saucer on the top of it.
It really does look like a little planet, and it lights up like when you're doing it and you're skipping. And I was like in heaven.
That looks so
Anyway,
cool.
it's so
Do
crazy.
you like crack your ankle on them though? Because I know like
No, not
Sure.
really. I mean, like you just this is padded, so like you just whip it around and jump over it.
yeah, but like if you like say like forget to jump and like that flying saucer smacks you in the ankle, like wouldn't it hurt?
Yeah, it would be more the stick that hits you than like the saucer than the wheel. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely I'm gonna bust my ass on this at some point. It's inevitable. But it is nice to like it's that feeling of like reaching back to your inner child and being like, it's okay. You know what? You deserve a $13 skip it. Like it's okay. From Madeirist, I wasn't fast enough to sweep Ashton off her feet this
Oh,
time, but I'm
this
still waiting for
time.
Chrissy to come to Minnesota and make me laugh into a wow, 2 Minnesota fans in one show. Interesting. Cesario, House Slither Puff. Oh, he's a combination.
I think I might be a Slitherpuff actually.
Really? Okay, I'm Hufflepuff all the way.
I
I've
think
embraced
Hufflepuff
it.
Hufflepuff is definitely my favorite house for sure. Like if I wasn't in Slytherin, I'd want to be in Hufflepuff. Like I'm very proud of being in Slytherin because I think it's just something I've known I've been since I was like 6 years old since the movies came out. But I think Hufflepuff is just all the best people.
Oh,
Honestly, it really does. Like every person I meet who's a Hufflepuff, like my boyfriend's a Hufflepuff, my best friend's a Hufflepuff, my little sister's a Hufflepuff, my roommates are Hufflepuff. Like I've never met a mean Hufflepuff. And then Cedric Diggory, who's a huge hunk, aka Edward from Twilight, aka Batman now, is a Hufflepuff. I guess he's a beautiful man. So
yeah.
I've never met a bad Hufflepuff. So you should be proud.
I am proud. Speaking of Disney, wow, Disney Cruise Line is buying an unfinished ship that will become the largest in their fleet. I forget that
Ooh.
Disney does cruises. One cruise line's loss is Mickey Mouse's gain as Disney Cruise Line announced it will acquire the unfinished Global Dream cruise ship, which is under construction in Germany right now. The 208,000 gross ton ship was being built for Genting, Hong Kong, which ran Dream Cruises, Crystal Cruises, and Star Cruises, as well as Lloyd. Imagine this is like an old like because remember in early COVID days, there were a bunch of cruise ships that were like marooned because everyone on it had COVID and they wouldn't let them dock anywhere. It'd be so funny if that's what this was. Like this is a COVID ship,
my God.
COVID cruise lines, and they had to just hose it down and then it's perfectly fine. Let's sell it to Disney.
Just have like all of the, who are those guys in Monsters Inc. with like those yellow suits? We got 7-150. Not the minions. Not the minions. You know, like whenever like a kid gets out, like remember that was that one guy. He always got like a sock stuck on him or something, and these like this whole crew, this like cleaning crew would come in and like sanitize him. What is it? You know what I'm talking about? How they'd come in like we gotta sanitize him. We got a 10-150 or something like that.
Yeah, like a hazmat suit or something.
Yeah, the monsters in their hazmat suits. Like I'm just thinking like about the hazmat suit guys from Monsters Inc. going into like all the Disney parks and the Disney cruise ships during COVID and like blasting everything.
This was originally targeted to serve the Chinese market. Oh my God. I think this is COVID cruise lines. The Global Dream would have had the capacity for 9,000 passengers. Disney Cruise Line has no intention of cramming that many people on board, but the ship will be significantly larger. It's called
someone corrected me. It's a 2319. Thank you to the people in the chat saying 2319. That's the actual quote. We got 2319.
Wow, they want to have 4,000 passengers, 1,500 crew. Okay, I thought this was going to be more exciting.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on a cruise?
I've never been on a cruise, but
Me neither.
my friend Kerrigan, she's getting married in September, and she's having it on a Disney cruise, and so I'm going to be doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm saving up for that for sure.
What if you were like boycotting Disney and you're like, I cannot attend your wedding as I am taking a
Oh
political
my
stance?
gosh. Here's the thing. I want to boycott Disney I think it's so funny because like I like on the same page as the Geeks and Gamers crew. We're like, we want to boycott this because of everything that they're doing. But at the same time, we can't help but think, okay, we love this company. We like love what we got like 10 years ago. Let's get over here and critique this properly and actually say what needs to be fixed and blah, blah, blah. And so, like, because at the end of the day, you're still going to have Jay going to the parks. You're still going to have Jeremy watching the movies and the TV shows to give reviews, which kind of needs to happen. Like, we still need people churning out critiques of what needs to be fixed, right? Because if maybe we scream loud enough into the void, someone on the other side's going to hear us and be like, okay, we hear the little whisper, we hear the little yelp, you know, from Whoville and the little speck, you know. So there are times where I'm like, oh man, if I just stop giving them my money, Disney will start to get better. But the truth is, Disney is not going to get better unless the public actually really shows them and critiques it loud enough and actually says something. So
Yeah.
yes, I do believe in showing them with your wallets, but at the same time, there's still so much from Disney that I do appreciate, that I do love.
That makes sense. This
Yeah.
was something you were touching on before. Warner Brothers TV boss Channing Dungey says there's a lot of interest in a Harry Potter series. Warner Brothers TV group boss Channing Dungey has said there's tremendous amount of ambition for a Harry Potter TV series, as well as revealing the company is closing a deal with Amazon for animated DC content. Responding to Variety's question about whether a TV project set in the Wizarding world might be coming, following the success of the Harry Potter reunion and Harry Potter Hogwarts Tournament of Houses, a competition show hosted by Helen Mirren, Dungey said there is a tremendous amount of ambition for that, and we are engaged in a number of different conversations.
So the thing about J.K. Rowling, I think people have to give her credit for, is that she is the reason book publishing companies actually have more of a hold on people's work than they ever did. Because J.K. Rowling, she made sure that all of her characters, all of her story building, all of her world building, everything would go to her, that people couldn't take anything from her. So every studio has to get her permission on everything, like whether it's hiring someone or casting someone or anything. Like, she is the only woman who has this ability anymore, because nobody suspected her to become a billionaire off of this series. Nobody expected the money that would come from Harry Potter.
Wow.
And by the way, shout out to Mr. Christopher Little for actually giving her the time of day that no one else would. Because if it wasn't for Christopher Little, then we would never have a Harry Potter series. But
who was Christopher Little?
He was her publisher. This is the guy who she went through, I think, 7 different publishers that told her no. And Christopher Little just had the copy sitting there, and he read it to his children. And they're like, and he was like, I got to get this published. And so J.K. Rowling was barely making enough money to survive, let alone take care of her child. She was writing Harry Potter every second she could in cafes to save on electricity. This woman went from, in my opinion, the greatest rags to riches story ever made.
Yeah,
I'm not just in love with Harry Potter because of the world building and the story building and the characters. I'm in love with the woman who made Harry Potter and everything she went through to get to where she is to make this series. And this series, I'm really praying that, it remains untouchable, even after she's gone, heaven forbid, because I don't know. I have a weird hunch that she's not involved with much of the process of making these films as she used to be, especially with the Fantastic Beasts films, because they give her writing credits. But the thing is, you have to give someone writing credits if it's based off their characters and their story. A part of me wonders, because there's so many inconsistencies, The Crimes of Grindelwald and Secrets of Dumbledore. I almost wonder if there's a lot of backlash with her as with her recent coming out of her recent opinions being put out there. I think they're trying to take Harry Potter away from her, and I really hope they don't. Not just for the fact that this is her story and her development and the morality behind that, you know, despite what her opinions are, this is still her story. It's the fact that the fans want what J.K. Rowling wrote. They don't want what Warner Brothers is making. They don't want what Amazon is making. They don't, and it goes for all these different series. It's why I'm not a fan of the new Lord of the Rings series on Amazon. It's a reason why, you know, I kind of, you know, dipped out when Jodie Whittaker became the Doctor. And it's not even because of Jodie Whittaker, because, you know, the writing completely changed midway through Matt Smith. But with Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi, they loved the character of the Doctor so much they made, you know, not the best writing work for them. And when Jodie Whittaker came along, you can sort of tell she didn't care as much about the character as Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi did. So with her not really caring about the character as much, on top of bad writing and inconsistent writing, Doctor Who is just over. It honestly breaks my heart when I have to sort of give up and truly boycott a franchise that I care about. I really hope I never have to do it with Harry Potter. I really hope I never have to do it with Disney. But I cried when I had to give up on Doctor Who, because I was the biggest Doctor Who nut you would ever meet in school. And so these things, you know, it's people can make fun of me for this, but these things truly do matter to the fans, because like, you know, again, like I wasn't, you know, the cute kid in school. I was heavily bullied. I was very much an outcast. I was pretty weird. Like, you know, that really didn't really change much about me. But my whole thing
is kind of all you. It feels like all you have at the time. It feels like one
you know,
solid thing in your life.
These things got me through the worst times in my life. Like I was being shoved into lockers, and girls would just pick on me. And like, you know, I didn't really have many friends other than like my one best friend who was a cheerleader, so she was busy all the time. And you know, she was kind of trying
to getting fingered. I would know. I was a cheerleader.
You were?
Yeah.
I would have never pegged you as a cheerleader.
I know. I think I was pulled into it because I was a gymnast, and well, I remember I was in cross country at the time, and then I was like, oh, cheerleading looks like fun and considerably less running and like more flips and things I can do. And it's like, oh, you wear a cute outfit. Remember, I quit cross country for cheerleading. The cross country coach like shamed me. He's like, I lost all respect for you. You are never allowed on cross country again. I was like, okay, good, bye. I fucking hate running. Like, get off my back, dude.
Everyone assumes I was a cheerleader. Everyone assumes when they meet me, like, oh, I bet you were a cheerleader, weren't you? I'm like, nope. I was a band. I had giant glasses. I was a weirdo. And I did nothing but quote Doctor Who and Harry Potter all the time and spend my time in my room playing World of Warcraft and writing Harry Potter fan fiction.
What did you play in band?
Band? I was in percussion, so I was on the drums.
Okay. I started with the clarinet, but only because it was what I needed to do to get to the sweet alto sax, which I eventually quit because the case was too heavy and I didn't want to bring it back and forth. Anyway, hold on. Back to this. Okay. Responding to Variety's question about whether a TV project set in the Wizarding world might be coming following the success of the Harry Potter reunion and Harry Potter Hogwarts Tournament of Houses. I already read that part. I wish I could tell you that something was imminent on the horizon, but there is a lot of interest and a lot of passion for it. So absolutely, she continued. What's great is that you see how the audience is so engaged and so ready. Our unscripted team did a fantastic Return to Hogwarts special for HBO last year that resonated so tremendously. Then we did a quiz show, the Tournament of Houses, that Helen Mirren was the host for. The audience is ready. They want to go. So we're just going to figure out what's the right next step is. Dungy was speaking at a UK TV conference, Content London, where she also revealed Warner Brothers TV is closing a deal with Amazon for animated DC content. One of the interesting things that's exciting for me at this moment, the approach of the previous management was much more like everything has to stay in-house. We don't want anything to go outside, Dungy said. David Zaslav has been much more open to our exploring all of our animated IP and being able to do it on different platforms. Certainly HBO Max is going to be our first stop, but we're already in the process of closing a big deal with Amazon that's going to feature some of our DC branded content and animation. Last month, Warner Brothers underwent a massive restructure. They laid off 19% of its workforce across unscripted, scripted, and animation divisions. They merged Warner Brothers Animation and Cartoon Network. The other tricky part is in terms of the cast is expectation now what you're paying talent in the various roles. That has just continued to increase, which affects your bottom line. That makes it tricky. I guess Helen Mirren is too expensive. I think there was a feeling for a while that a project needed to have a certain level of name in order for it to be successful. Okay. Does this make you excited or skeptical?
Here's the thing. I want to be excited because there were so many times watching the movies. I was like, wow, they really forgot to put this and this and this and this and this and this and this. There's so many things missing from the movies, especially Goblet of Fire, that just drive me insane. And I really hope they take the time with this series to include everything, right? They're going to have to at least do 7 seasons if they do a TV show, if not 8 or 9 seasons. They're going to have to basically watch these kids grow up from 10 to 20, the same way they did with the movies. My only worry is that instead of using the amount of time they have, the time framing in a TV show, they would to actually show us everything in the book series and make it actually consistent with the book series. I worry they're going to not make it consistent with the book series and do the exact opposite of what the fans want them to do. Because that's, again, like when they did Rings, I actually had hope for Rings of Power at first. I had hope. I wanted to have the faith, right? I wanted to be like, you know what? We haven't seen it yet. Let's just give it a chance. And the funny thing is, it wasn't even the story that bothered me because, again, they couldn't use everything from Silmarillion because they couldn't get the rights to Silmarillion. What bothered me was how cheap the CGI and special effects and stunts were done. That's what bothered me. And Galadriel as a character might as well be a completely different character. The story was interesting, but the character development was off. And the cheapening of the CGI and the stunt was just all wrong. I barely got through episode 2 with Rings of Power. I tried giving everything a chance, right? I tried giving Jodie Whittaker a chance in Doctor Who. I tried giving Rings of Power a chance. I even tried giving She-Hulk a chance.
Haha, me too. Yeah, that was fun.
I try. I don't want to just be like, oh, this is going to be woke trash or whatever, because I feel like that's actually just a sort of, that's a bad argument. Just saying something's woke isn't actually an argument to me.
You have to be specific.
You have to explain, well, what's wrong with the story building? What's wrong with the character development? What could have been done better here? There's a better way to actually explain why things could have been done better. But honestly, the studios are making it really hard to keep faith with these kind of things because they keep just cheapening everything.
Yeah. I was going to touch on this before because you were really concerned that they were trying to take the franchise away from J.K. Rowling. Here is Helena Bonham Carter. She rails against cancel culture, defends J.K. Rowling and Johnny Depp.
All the Slytherins are defending her because Tom, who plays Draco Malfoy, aka the variant of me, he defended J.K. Rowling too.
Yeah.
All the Slytherins.
Who did she play?
She played a Bellatrix, which is Draco Malfoy's aunt.
Oh, right. Okay. So Helena Bonham Carter is making quite clear how she feels about so-called cancel culture, along with sharing her thoughts on such embattled public figures such as Johnny Depp and J.K. Rowling.
She would be a huge person against cancel culture because she was married to Tim Burton, and Tim Burton was heavily canceled a few years ago for the dumbest stuff. I mean, but now he's back to being on top because he made the Wednesday series, which, in my opinion, is amazing. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of the whole school for different monsters thing. I think that's like a ripoff of Monster High, and I feel like that's been done so many times. But I will say the girl who plays Wednesday in the new Wednesday series is the perfect Wednesday. I didn't know because I'm so stuck on Christina Ricci as Wednesday Addams. I didn't think I was gonna like her.
I can't see anyone else do it.
Jenna Ortega. You know what? With Addams Family, I'm cool with different renditions of the casting. I'm cool with different renditions of Addams Family because Jenna Ortega is such a great actress overall. I think she's just amazing. I think she's so talented and so young and vibrant and brilliant. She really is a great Wednesday Addams. It's different than Christina Ricci's Wednesday Addams. It's definitely different, but I like the different renditions. I can still appreciate Christina Ricci and still appreciate Jenna Ortega in the same amount while recognizing they're different Wednesday Addams. So that's what I like.
I'm going to pull up a picture of her so people can see because she does have the look.
She's great.
Wow.
She's great. I think you have to watch the series on Netflix if you haven't watched it yet. Again, I'm not a fan of the concept of a school for monsters and she's sent to go to the school for monsters. I think that's been overdone. But her acting and her as Wednesday makes up for it. It really does. And the fact that she has visions and she's kind of like, I guess she is like what they call a seer. She can like see into the future and things like that. That's really interesting to me.
Okay.
I think
That is
it's
cool.
Yeah, she makes up for it. I watch it for Jen Ortega and Jen Ortega alone. And Catherine Zeta-Jones, I was not expecting to be an amazing Morticia, but she really is.
Ooh. Yeah,
She's
I'm glad.
really
She
good.
hasn't done anything in a while since giving what's his face throat cancer. So I'm glad to see her back working again. Okay, during an interview with The Times that published online Saturday, Bonham Carter criticized the notion that someone's personal life should impact their career. Do you ban a genius for their sexual practices? There would be millions of people who, if you looked closely enough at their personal life, you would disqualify them. You can't ban people. I hate cancel culture. It has become quite hysterical, and there's a kind of a witch hunt and a lack of understanding.
Yes.
Yes, girl. When
And
asked,
oh, sorry.
right, when asked whether there is a path to redemption for such Hollywood notables, the Oscar-nominated actress said, "I don't think there is for someone like Kevin Spacey, and Johnny certainly went through it." In responding to a follow-up question specifically about Depp, who has co-starred with her in multiple films and is a godfather to the two children she shares with Tim Burton, Bonham Carter said she feels the Pirates of the Caribbean star is completely vindicated following his high-profile trial. I think he's fine now, totally fine. My view is that she got on that pendulum. That's the problem with these things, that people will jump on the bandwagon because it's the trend and to be the poster girl for it. Oh, meaning Amber Heard with the Me Too shit. I want to see what she says about. Okay, the actress was also impassioned about the blowback that Harry Potter author Rowling has received over comments that have been criticized as transphobic. Bonham Carter played Bellatrix Lestrange in the 4 most recent Harry Potter films. It's horrendous, a load of bollocks. I think she has been hounded. Bonham Carter said about Rowling, "It's been taken to the extreme, the judgmentalism of people. She's allowed her opinion, particularly if she suffered abuse. Everyone carries their own history of trauma and forms their opinions from that trauma, and you have to respect where people come from and their pain. You don't all have to agree on everything. That would be insane and boring. She's not meaning it aggressively. She's just saying something out of her own experience." This is so good. When asked about the film's franchise stars such as Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, who have spoken out about Rowling's remarks, Bonham Carter said, "Personally, I feel they should have let her have her opinions, but I think they're very aware of protecting their own fan base and their generation." Yeah, she knows they're just trying to like save face because they're younger and she's older and she's been through it. She's been married to Tim Burton. So, but it still takes balls to say this publicly.
Yeah. I mean, I think she's just at the time where she's like, she doesn't care. I mean, Helena Bonham Carter doesn't care what anyone thinks about her. I mean, she is just chef kiss. I mean, when God made Helena Bonham Carter, he was like, perfect. I love Helena Bonham. She's actually like one of my biggest heroes out there. I think the way she handles media and press, and I think she's so graceful and wonderful. I want to be more like her every single day. So I didn't realize that she actually stood up for both J.K. Rowling and Johnny Depp. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that one, I think this article just came out today, so it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting.
From Russell Hall, how long till we get a gay Dumbledore musical?
We already have one. It's called the Pottermore Musical. No, not Pottermore. It's a Harry Potter musical. Sorry, Pottermore's website.
So there, Russell.
There you go, Russell Hall.
No one of consequence. I played percussion too, but only because I never learned how to read sheet music.
The best way to learn how to read sheet music is to join choir.
Oh, that's a hot tip. Andrew Thomas. Hey, sexy Chrissie and sexy Ashton. As a fellow autistic adult, I appreciate your nerdiness, Ashton.
Oh, thank you.
See, we got supporters in the chat. Okay, this was a good one from Frank. What are 3 films or IPs that need to be remade and 3 that should never be remade?
Okay, so 3 films that need to be remade. Aragon. Did you read the Aragon series?
No.
It's the Dragon series. So they made an Aragon movie that was so terribly made, but the book series is just fantastic. We need to remake the Aragon movie or series, whatever, because the Aragon movie is terrible. Avatar: The Last Airbender needs a new movie because that was terrible. I would not mind seeing a remake of the Harry Potter series if they do it well. If they do it well, The movies are fantastic, but I would like to see everything put on screen if they do it well. 3 that should never be remade. I think they need to stop making Marvel movies. I think we're done. I think we're Marveled out at this point. Clearly, I think you know what? Actually, I'm going to change my Harry Potter answer to I want a Teen Titans movie. I want to do that. A Teen Titans. I used to love Teen Titans growing up. Things that shouldn't be remade. The Marvel needs to end. I think they need to leave Lord of the Rings alone because Lord of the Rings was perfectly done. If they touch Lord of the Rings, I will riot. They already have, but they touched the original 3, I will riot because those are perfectly done. There's a lot that I don't think that. Stop remaking Disney films and stop making live action remakes. Stop making sequels when you don't need to make sequels. Stop making villain background stories. I'm sorry. Why do we have a background? Why do we have a backstory for a woman who wanted to kill puppies? And on top of that, they completely changed the whole. Like Cruella's whole story implies that everything you see in 101 Dalmatians didn't happen.
Oh, so it's basically like an undoing.
It's terrible. It's awful. And then like there's this whole like, oh, she's in the punk 70s scene, but the original 101 Dalmatians takes place in the 60s, and that they don't even do the punk scene properly because she's basically wanting to replace one establishment with another. It's not well done. It's very. I feel like a lot of the movies that Disney's coming out with that are either remakes or backstories or sequels read like really bad fan fiction. Like I used to write fan fiction when I was 12 years old, and I feel like the stuff that I was writing at 12 years old is better than what Disney's popping out with, honestly. Like, I'm gonna be real with you.
I like that. Shots fired. Okay, cool. From Ape, I like this. This is not a super chat. Chrissy never reads or watches or plays anything nerdy, so don't even ask.
I mean, she's on Friday Night Tights all the time, so.
Oh, I'm just there for comic relief. People get upset.
Why
don't you recommend something to me, sir? Recommend me something.
That's so dumb of a anybody can be a nerd about anything.
Help me out. Help a sister out, yo.
What's the thing?
I've played the clarinet for years, for Christ's sake. I'm halfway there.
Stupid of a comment because I feel like you can be nerdy about anything. Like you don't need to be nerdy about specifically D&D or World of Warcraft or Doctor Who or Harry Potter or whatever. Like you can be a nerd about anything, and I think it's so like that's such a high school comment.
Like Christmas ornaments.
Yeah, you can be total nerd about Christmas ornaments. Do you know the history of like? Do you have something that you're very especially interested in where you're like, the entire history of, you can go into detail of, like, you're just really passionate about it and it kind of annoys the crap out of people around you?
God, probably like, I used to get that way, like, during the time of the Olympics, like with springboard diving, but like,
you're a nerd about the Olympics.
I didn't know anybody else that like cared about it. So I kind of like got off it.
So you're a nerd about the Olympics.
I can't really share this with anyone. So yeah.
That means you're a nerd about the Olympics. There you go. I feel like this whole idea of, oh, well, you're not a real nerd if you don't read this comic book or if you don't do that. That's so stupid. That's so dumb.
I've read all the Harry Potter books. I think I definitely saw the movies.
You've read more books than most Harry Potter fans.
Yeah.
You dabbled here. Well, the thing is, I meet a lot of Harry Potter fans who are like huge Harry Potter nuts that have never read the books. And that's perfectly fine. Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you the amount of drama that happens in like Harry Potter like groups like on Facebook and things like that. Like people would get in legit fights if someone hasn't read the books or if someone's only seen the movies. It's so dumb. It's so ridiculous. I think it's hilarious.
I did play D&D. Thank you very much. And
heck yeah,
do it again. That was really fun. I laughed.
You need to come on tabletop with me sometime, and we'll
yes,
the whole thing.
I was so bad. I was so bad that it was funny.
You know what though? I love D&D because honestly, you can't really be bad at D&D. It's all story building. So that's what I love about it. I actually prefer D&D.
I wasn't taking my cues. Like I didn't realize that they were prompting me into moves and like we were all telling a story together, but it's fun. I had a good time. Nightbreed, gotta love how they abhor and cancel Spacey, but deify Harvey Milk, who was also into teenage boys. Oh,
wait, what? Harvey Milk was into youngins?
Yeah, I think he was definitely gay.
He was gay, but that doesn't mean he was into youngins, though.
Let's Google it.
What?
God, my web search history. Into teenage boys. Yes. Harvey Milk was an evil man who raped teenage boys. Oops. Well, this could be an opinion piece.
Well, yeah. Let's fact check this before we start accusing Harvey Milk of terrible things.
Oh, all right. True. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah. I try to
We'll come
watch
back
my
to you.
mouth with things about this because I've been caught saying things that were not true and not fact checked at all, and it comes back to bite me in the butt. So
We're gonna fact check it.
oddly enough, they do eat rats in Venezuela, though.
Tip for 2. No Star Kid, AVPM. It sucks, and they went woke. I don't know what any of this means. A Harry Potter musical.
Yeah, a Harry Potter musical. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's right. Okay. Sorry, I was so confused. What's AVPM? A Harry Potter musical. Yeah, Star Kid Productions. The guy who plays Harry in that musical actually is Darren Criss, and he was on Glee for a long time too. I actually really liked Harry Potter musical. I thought it was really well done. But then they also
Harry
made
Potter musical.
it was like some college production from like 20 years ago or something like that, and it's actually hilarious. Like, even if you've never read the books or seen the movies, like, it's pretty funny. Like, they make a lot of jokes that are like would not go over well in 2022. I just started watching The Office.
Oh, fun.
I've never seen it before, and I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm like, how is Steve Carell not canceled? Because like, there's so many like
The timing
funny.
of it. He did it at the right time, is before things really ramped up.
It's funny. That's the thing. It's so funny. I have to think to myself, okay, is The Office
the racial
actually...
jokes he got away with were amazing. Like, it was. That's why it actually did really well, because people laugh at that shit all the time.
And like, he's talking about trans people, like the way he talks about them back then, like he could never get away with it now. The way he like the gay, oh my gosh, when he kissed Oscar, I can't.
Yeah, the forced kiss. Oh, it was great.
And apparently they didn't know it was going to happen. Steve Carell just did it. I mean, here's the thing with The Office. When I'm watching The Office, I can't help but think, is this actually that funny of a show? Or are we just so deprived comically, like in 2022, where like The Office is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life?
I know. I'm like, we're kind of rewatching Seinfeld, and I'm like, wow, this is a great show. Like, I completely disregarded it growing up because it was just like, oh, that's like what my sister likes to watch. It's just so funny, like being a stand-up.
I don't like Seinfeld. You know what?
Some episodes are really funny.
I don't like Friends. I just don't.
Oh, Friends sucks. Yeah.
Like, if you took away the laugh track, it's not funny.
It's so cringy. It's so corny. Like, they're not. They think they're hilarious, but they're hilarious for like regular people, which is not very much.
The only thing funny on that entire show that I've ever seen was when Robin Williams was on the show, and like, he wasn't even written into the script. Like, he was just in town one day and then walked onto the set while they were filming and just did that. So the funniest thing from Friends wasn't even written into the script. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
From Front Porch Conservative. Ashton, do you think it can be turned around in the long run, or will it fade into cultural irrelevance due to wokeism and self-inflicted wounds? You are great.
Well, thank you. I will say this. I don't like saying politics needs to stay out of pop culture, because I think that's not true. I think pop culture actually thrives from political messaging and thrives on politics.
I think he means, do you mean like, yeah, what specifically do you think can be turned around?
I think wokeism is dying. I think the need for woke messaging in pop culture is dying. I think the trend for it is dying. I think people are getting sick of it, especially the younger generation. So Gen Z is very much, they're definitely more liberal than a lot of the generations that came before them, but I think they're done with woke in pop culture. I think they don't really care if it's in the sake of comedy. And I think people are getting sick of stuff being shoved down their throats overall. And I think it's not going to be selling for very much longer. And I think studios are going to start catching on. They're going to get desperate for money and they're going to start hiring new writers. I think it's going to die off in a couple of years, maybe even less. I think we're going to start getting better material and better TV shows and better movies, better music. I think people are going to get so sick of pointing the finger at each other and trying to accuse each other and trying to attack each other and cancel each other. Because the only reason why cancel culture even exists is because people don't want to admit they make the same mistakes. And so they point the finger at someone else and accuse them because they want to make sure all of that is off of their chest. And they want to make sure nobody comes after them. So they point the finger first. And that's the problem, is everybody is, guilty of the same stupid jokes and saying the same stupid stuff and making the same mistakes. Everyone is guilty of all that. And the problem is that by developing cancel culture and sort of just trying to throw everybody under the bus all the time, it's actually created this even bigger scene of people who are trying to be edgier about things and trying to push back with more edgelord takes that aren't necessarily funny. They're just, look at me sort of thing. And so I think the death of comedy has gone down two routes. You either can't say anything, or the only option we have is to be as edgy as possible.
To go as hard as you can. Yeah.
Right. To the point where it's not actually funny. You're just trying to be edgy because you want attention. And that's the problem. The only way we can actually get back things that are funny and entertaining and brilliantly done is by stop trying to cancel everything and view it as it is, which is art.
Yeah. Right. It's like art that you like and don't like. And it all should be seen and heard. Oh, from Portugal, he said Disney. So do you think Disney can be turned around?
Oh, I do. I think Disney's starting to witness everything, because Disney did not do well in the past few years, especially with the theme parks and especially with the movies and TV shows they're coming out with. I mean, they are having box office just disasters right now. Disney Plus is losing money. Their theme parks are falling apart because they don't want to build new attractions that people are actually asking for. Disney.
The animated film that just came out is the worst performing one of all time for them.
Well, you know what it is? It's the marketing was not only bad, but the thing is, I think they've done so poorly with in theater releases, is that people don't want to go to the theaters to watch Disney movies anymore. They don't want to do it. Because the last good Disney film I saw in a theater was Coco, which was 2017. And before that, it was great. It was fantastic.
I liked Encanto too.
I didn't like Encanto. I liked Encanto for the animation, the story. I wasn't a fan of half the music. And honestly, one thing about Encanto that I think threw me off from it, and it kind of ruined the whole movie.
All the Spanish people?
No! First of all, I'm pretty sure they're Colombian.
Oh.
Yeah. But honestly, I'm just messing with you. I don't care.
I know.
but the thing is, what really threw me off from the whole movie, the movie was actually not bad, but the reason I have a bad taste in my mouth from it was the TikTok dancing donkeys in one song.
I did not see that.
It was during the pressure song, and the donkeys are just dancing like this, and I'm like, this just ruined the whole movie for me. This movie was so good, and the donkeys just started dancing like this, and I'm like, I can't watch this anymore.
I have to pull this up.
It ruined it.
Oh no, I fucking hate TikTok. I really cannot stress that enough.
I love TikTok. I love it. The thing is that there is no reason TikTok culture needs to be in my movies.
What the fuck?
You see, it's so cringe.
This was in the movie?
In the movie.
Okay, I don't remember that.
It's so cringe.
What the fuck?
Ugh. Yeah, no thanks. That's enough TikTok for me for the next year. No. Uh-oh. Do not pull up Disney. Oops. Fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it, Ashton. Quick to a super chat. Henrik, is there any video games you would like to try, Chrissy? Okay. Maybe the Goat Simulator.
What?
There's a game called the Goat Simulator.
Where you can be a goat?
Yeah. You just run around, you knock things over, jump on a table.
I want to be a goat.
Frank's mad at me. Yeah, yeah.
Why Frank mad at you? What did he do? What did you
Because
do?
I played Disney like an asshole.
Oh.
Kaiju Ninja, Ashton, Chrissy, what movie should be made into a musical?
I am
Ooh.
so sick of movies being made into musicals. We got Mean Girls the musical. We got Beetlejuice the musical. We got Big Fish the musical. Which you
I want to
think
see
I love.
Notebook. I want to see Notebook the musical.
What?
Or
No.
like Titanic the musical.
No. My boyfriend's dead. I have to change my name.
Oh, and you can fly. You can fly as the goat too.
What?
In Goat Simulator.
Hi, Cody. Hello, Face of Bo. How are you doing?
Goat Simulator is effing great. You can go into space as a goat. See all the things you can do. I can do more things as a goat than as a human.
I love goats so much. They're like one of my
Yes,
favorite animals.
Schindler's List the musical would be great. I would love that.
Oh, I'm so sick
It's
of the
getting
movies.
steamy in here. Yes. I don't know if the world is ready. Okay, deranged lunatic Ashton. I'm having trouble clicking on your Twitter.
It should be the Ashton Blaze is my Twitter.
Okay, there you go.
Yep.
Premium Nick, not regular Nick. Chrissy
Why
and
does it
Ashton.
say Ashton the Slytherin 1725?
Oh, I don't know. This is on your Twitter?
No, like this is in the little like promo bar. I just realized that.
Oh, is it the wrong thing?
What happened in 1725?
Is that completely wrong?
It just should be Ashton the Slytherin.
I think
What
Frank
happened
made
in
that. I don't know.
1725?
So it's
Frank!
not Ashton 7025.
What? Let's see. What happened in 1725?
That's your YouTube handle. Supposedly.
No, it's just Ashton the Slytherin.
No numbers?
There shouldn't be any numbers. What is happening?
Well, he says nope.
What? Why does it say this?
Does it?
Yeah, I just checked it. What's going on here?
Maybe you really liked 1745.
What?
Ashton the Slytherin, going to it now. Yeah, Ashton the Slytherin,
heck?
1725.
That's so weird.
Sure enough. There you go. 1725. I didn't know if that was a Harry Potter number or something.
No, honestly, it has been Ashton Slytherin up until this very moment. I have never seen that before. Well, let's see. What happened in 1725? Charles I think it's the 11th? Holy Roman Emperor King Philip V of Spain signed the Treaty of Vienna. Okay. May 12th, the Black Watch is raised as a military company as a part of the pacification of Scottish Highlands and General George Wade. Okay. That happened in 1725, I guess.
Wow. In 1724, Benjamin Franklin arrived in London. That's pretty neat.
Okay. And then I'm guessing in 1725, Benjamin Franklin then cucked all of the Frenchmen to pay for the Revolutionary War.
Ooh.
No, it wasn't until later.
Fired.
Wasn't until later.
Let's see.
I think it's the funniest thing.
Who was born in 1725? Louis Mandrin, Giacomo Casanova,
George Mason,
George Mason, John Wilkes. I don't know if that's John Wilkes Booth. No, that's maybe. Fuck, I don't know.
More famous birthdays. We got more.
Ooh, Louis Mandrin, a French smuggler, considered the French Robin Hood.
Okay. But he's French, doesn't count, so.
No.
The French don't count. Sorry.
People are stupid. Yeah, a lot of French people. English radical, journalist. George Mason, American statesman. Also, he has a college named after him that I looked at. How exciting. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Premium Nick, Chrissy and Ashton, do you follow Nicole Arbor? She just started her own podcast, Arbor Effect. Chrissy, please have Nicole Arbor on your podcast. Love you, Chrissy. She hates me.
I've gone after her a couple times, actually.
I think I stood up for Louis J. Gomez what they were feuding, and I think I took his side on that, or tweeted something taking his side or standing up for him or something, and she just wrote me off after that.
I
So
will tell you this, the internet is very cliquey, and if you stand up for one person, the other person will claim that you're their enemy now despite never meeting them. And like if you critique one thing that someone does, you are automatically enemy number one to them. Like it's very crazy to me just how immature you have to be on the internet. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had my very immature moments too, but
Mhm.
it's pretty funny, like just how cliquey and how how cliquey people are on the internet, how strong of a grudge people hold here. It's very weird.
I would love to have Nicole on, but I'm currently still blocked, Premium Nick. So if you want
Yeah,
to put in a word, I can't because I'm
I think
blocked
I think she
still.
blocked me on TikTok actually because I responded to a TikTok she made about Harry Potter. And like I could tell she had never read the books because she was making a statement about something that was just like a little ridiculous. And so I
So
basically
maybe
said,
the
"Hey,
arbor effect is what happens like when she doesn't like someone that you like, and then the arbor effect is just everyone getting blocked in a ripple effect
just telling her
over
she's wrong."
nothing.
I didn't even
Yeah.
like go after a character or anything. Like I said, "Hey, like as somebody who's read all the books, like is clearly obsessed with it, you're wrong about this. This is you might want to get this right." And then I was blocked on TikTok, and I was like, "Okay." So
Oh yeah, she manipulated an entire podcast episode to make Lewis sound like an a-hole. I remember that. This was a couple years ago.
didn't she
Just
walk out on Candace Owens too? Like she like Candace.
yes. She was in over her head with that one. She went after Candace, and Candace had her on, and then Candace just made her look stupid.
Well, Candace simply said, "Hey, like, can you explain like why you feel this way?" And well, it's funny because Nicole was there because she was telling Candace that she was accusing Candace of canceling someone. Um, when Candace was like, "No, I'm calling out someone's behavior. That's different than canceling." And then Nicole walked off stage angrily.
But Nicole also demanded that, like, she had her lawyers and her people, like, make sure that, well, they either heavily edited or did not release, an episode, or maybe they heavily edited a part, that she was on, and,
Yeah.
like, she ended up looking bad, but she got her because she is very rich and famous and has a lot
I
of
don't think.
lawyers and a
Oh,
whole
I don't
team, so
think
they
she's
got
rich.
them to edit out a big portion of it.
I don't think she's rich because there was this whole scandal with Airbnb where I guess Nicole Arbor wasn't paying for her Airbnb or whatever, and then tried to scam like this Airbnb owner. There's a whole story about this a while
Wow.
ago. I don't know. To
I mean,
be
you
honest,
can be rich and not pay for things and be, like, sketchy, you know?
that's annoying. I don't know. It's just I don't. Everyone's like, "Oh, Nicole Arbor's on. She's so right wing. She's so right wing." I don't think Nicole
No,
Arbor is
she
actually.
isn't.
I don't think she's actually right wing. It's like calling me. I mean, I don't think she's actually right wing. I think what happened was after her Dear Fat People video, she got in so much trouble for that, which I think is like ridiculous. I don't think she should have
Right.
gotten as much backlash as she did. But I think because like there was so
People
much
love to hate
backlash,
a pretty blonde girl.
right?
That's ultimately
But
reality.
I think because of that, she decided she was going to jump on the whole anti-cancel culture train. And then she claimed to be right wing, despite that's the thing is you can be anti-cancel culture and anti-woke and not be right wing. The
Right.
problem is that I think she realized there was a commodity. If you want to be anti-cancel culture, you have to have this commodity and
I
appease
mean,
to right
it's
wing
kind of
punditry.
similarly to Candace Owens' path to fame. She kind of
Hmm.
just, like, she saw a market, and, she kind of fit that mold because Candace
Yeah.
used to be, like, a Bernie supporter.
I mean,
Um,
I was a when I was in high school, I was actually one of the youngest people to ever go to door for Ron Paul. And then I always consider myself libertarian. And then the Trump stuff happened, and then I was just surrounded by all this craziness in the Bay Area, and I think it just threw me off. And at the time in my youth, I was like, oh well, if I'm not part of this side, then I must be part of the other side. And that was kind of the mindset that happened. And I think because there was so much backlash, not just from like the people around me, but from my family members, it kind of pushed me over to that side, which really shouldn't have been my reaction. I should have just stayed, whatever. But I don't know. I think it's why I'm so against the whole left versus right paradigm. I don't think anybody is actually truly left or truly right. I think everybody meets each other in the middle somewhere,
yeah. I think I agree. What do you think of Severus Snape?
I mean, his whole story is one of my favorite stories in the Harry Potter series, honestly. I think he's one of the most interesting characters. I really like anti-hero backgrounds, and I really like villain to hero character arcs. I love Loki. I love Snape. I
Loki's
love
great.
Spike from the Buffy series. He's the only character I like in the Buffy series. I actually don't even like the Buffy series except for Spike. I love the anti-heroes. So for Snape to have his whole character arc going from like being a sniveling little kid who was bullied, which I think maybe I related to because I was bullied a lot as a kid as well, to being like, I'm going to join the bad side because the world hates me and I hate the world, blah, blah, blah. But then he realizes he makes a mistake and I was like, oh my gosh, let me make up for this. His whole character arc, I think, is like one of the most beautiful stories ever written. I think Severus Snape needs his own movie. I love him so much.
Oh, awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I don't think like even Nick, I would still have Nicole on. I would still love to have her on the show. I'm just saying like that's the extent of my limited experience with her. Like
Yeah.
would still love to talk to her because people would still love to hear from her. So it's
I would like to know her opinions. I would like to know her story because like her whole thing with that Dear Fat People video was insane. Like that whole story, that whole thing was insane. I just feel like, and that's not even my issue with her. My issue isn't even like what her politics is or what she says her politics are. My issue is that she's blocking everyone and she seems to quickly choose clicks.
Yeah.
And like she's a very, like, from what I've heard and what I've personally seen from a distance, it's a very high school mentality. And
Well,
it's
she seems
definitely
very LA. Like, and it seems like who she wants to associate is very LA.
And she kind of seems like the girl who peaked in high school.
Yeah.
She seems like every girl
who wasn't in band like us. Yeah.
She seems like every girl who bullied me in high school, honestly. And I just personally wouldn't want to deal with that.
Does seem like a cool girl. Yeah. She's got cool girl written all over her. From Crash Mondo, I remember this. Nicole was more obsessed with a race swap than with all of the plot holes.
Yes!
You then suggested she remove her Harry Potter tattoo. What? She has a Harry Potter tattoo?
So Nicole Arbor has admitted she's never actually read the books, and yet she's got a Deathly Hallows tattoo on her. And so I was like,
what?
And so
Why?
I was explaining to her, because a lot of basic bitches were getting a Deathly Hallows tattoo for a few years, okay?
What does that even look like?
It's a triangle with a circle and then a line through it. It's the cloak, it's the stone, it's the wand. So look up Deathly Hallows symbol. But basically, she has that tattoo, and I was like, I mean, I'm not going to tell a girl what kind of tattoos to get. I'm not going to tell a girl, you know, if you've only seen the movies and have never read the books, that's fine. You're happy.
This is like when everybody was getting the
feather and
the dancer on their back, the Dave Matthews Band, like fire dancer creature thing on their, after listening to like one song.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm really dating myself. Anyway.
But my whole thing is, I don't care if someone's only ever seen the movies and never read the books. My issue is that she was making herself up to be like this Harry Potter expert because she was mad about a race swap for the Broadway show. But I'm like, listen, if you're actually upset about something, like, you should be upset about all of the plot holes that are in this Broadway show. There's so many things that don't make sense. Why does Voldemort have a kid all of a sudden? When the heck was Bellatrix ever pregnant? We never actually see her pregnant in the movies or the books. There's so many different things in the Broadway show that I take issue with because they're just straight up inconsistencies with the books and movies. Like, I couldn't care any less about race swapping on a Broadway stage production because race swapping and gender swapping has been in stage productions since the beginning of, like, theater. Like, that's always been a thing. Like, that's not the thing that I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is that they're trying to say this is part of, like, the whole Harry Potter world building experience, a whole Harry Potter world building, but there's so many inconsistencies that don't add up. But you're mad about a race swap when it's a stage production.
Yeah,
like,
good point.
There's so many things that you could be angry about, but you chose the race swap, not because she even doesn't like the race swap, because she knows her audience. She knows the white boomers who follow her are going to see that and be angry about the exact same thing, despite these, you know, boomers who don't even probably care about Harry Potter.
So
But
it was not a very nuanced critique.
no, it
It
wasn't.
wasn't
It
a
was
critique of a real fan, you think?
well. I'm not saying she's not a real Harry Potter fan. What I'm saying is, I think she purposely chose that thing to rant about because so many other people who are right wing pundits were using the exact same
Low
rant.
hanging fruit.
She was it was low hanging fruit. She took what every other right wing pundit, Ben Shapiro, I know Ben Shapiro was very angry about it for
Maybe
some reason.
Crowder or
Crowder, like every Fox News anchor you could think of, she was basically taking an already done argument that was overused like 10 times too many and like using it as her own. And that was what bothered me. I'm like, if you're a true Harry Potter fan, why would you take the most basic Fox News argument and not take an argument that every other Harry Potter fan has? Because people, Harry Potter fans, left and right, there's so many things that we agree on. Like, hey, this is a plot inconsistency. Hey, this is something the character wouldn't like behave in this way. But instead, Nicole Arbor takes the basic Fox News talking point that has been heard 100 million times. And I know what she's doing. She's basically favoring her audience that she built up over time from right wingers. She wants to make sure they hear the things that they want to hear. But don't call yourself a true Harry Potter fan if that's the only thing you're going to rant about when there's so many different plot inconsistencies that no one else is talking about.
Snape is the ultimate deep cover agent.
Heck yeah. Agreed.
Good take. Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't thought of Nicole Arbor in a long time. But I mean, that's the thing. I could dislike someone and still would love to interview them. Like, would still love to have them on. And I wouldn't even make the interview about that. I wouldn't even bring that up. I would just be like, no, what do people want to hear from this person?
I just feel like of all the people that like is a potential interview that she blocked you, because I feel like you're a pretty fair interviewer. Like you're a pretty like decent person to talk with.
This might have been
anything.
a long time ago before my podcast really got going. This might have been more than 2 years ago because this only really got going like May of 2020. So
well, even then, it's like if you don't agree with someone, you don't have to block them. Like there are bigger things to block people over. Like I
think it was one tweet too. It wasn't like I was like harassing her or something.
I'm pretty happy with the block button, but like if someone simply disagreed with me or like stood up for someone else, that's not a reason to block someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little strange to me. But speaking of good interviewers, did you we had a little talk the other day about a certain interview that happened. Speaking of people walking away during interviews.
What?
Tim Pool and Kanye?
Oh, yeah. Did you watch any of that?
I did. I was just
What did you think?
What even happened? Okay, so I don't know what to take from that, honestly, because I feel like because Kanye started out saying he didn't want to talk about something, and then he continued to talk about the something he didn't want to talk about, which is fine. That happens all the time. I do that all the time. And I think, I mean, I think Tim was actually trying to be pretty fair. Like,
I think so too.
Because all Tim did was disagree with him. Like, hey, like I don't agree with how you see things. But I think Tim just wanted to know why Kanye thought the way he did, which is a pretty fair question to ask. You know, if your whole platform and everything you're talking about currently is that, someone's going to want to know, hey, like I don't agree with you, but I would like to understand why you think this way, that's not antagonizing. That's not harassing. That's not a setup. That's someone simply asking a question about your beliefs. And then not even 10 minutes into the interview, he walks out. So maybe Kanye just like was stressed out because people apparently at Tim's house were like trying to ask for pictures from him, which I
bet that's happening everywhere he goes. And people that say, oh, Tim fucked up. Like that's assuming that there is a reality where this full interview happened, where he sat there for 2+ hours and was like debating his points in a civilized way, handling criticisms, explaining himself. And I don't know if Kanye's in a position to want to do that or need to do that. He's not a podcaster. He's not used to having to like speak in a long form way. He's probably he's been very handled. He's recalibrating his life right now. He's probably figuring out who he can trust, who he can't trust. He's also running for president, so all his money and attention is now focused on this campaign. And I don't think there is a reality where Tim Pool gets a 2-hour interview out of Kanye West. I just don't think that Kanye is built for that long of an interview or would even want to, because it's hard to have someone like Tim challenge you on your points. You'd so much rather have yes people surrounding you and not have to, because when you debate your own points, when you take criticism and explain yourself, you're actually reminding yourself why you believe in these things. And that's very good and healthy to do every so often. It's like almost like you're telling yourself why you believe in these things again.
If you're running for president and you're publicly saying these things as a part of your campaign and a part of your belief system, people are going to ask you questions. Now, Tim, who doesn't agree with Kanye, could have easily gone after him and attacked him. But instead, Tim was like, hey, let me just, can you explain this further and why you believe this? And that was literally all Tim said. And for people who say, oh, Tim was just trying not to endanger his channel, just by having Nick Fuentes and Milo on and Kanye talking about this subject is enough to endanger the channel. Tim was sitting there willing to endanger the channel by having this conversation, but the conversation never even happened. That's the problem. So look, I'm pretty critical of Tim's interview style, but I don't think he messed up here. I think he generally tried to ask a few questions, and maybe Kanye is maybe it just wasn't Kanye's,
maybe wasn't feeling it that day.
He
like
wasn't
he was
feeling
just
it,
like in a mood and didn't have like what most of us would have and be like, wow, I'm on a huge platform. There's 95,000 people listening. This is a huge opportunity for me. Let me, even though this is hard and I don't like to be challenged and I'm not used to having to explain myself maybe a few times in a row. Let me see that this is going to be a net positive for me because it's such a huge platform. And, he's just was not in that headspace where he wanted to stick it out. So, and then also if Tim Pool had completely like laid down and let him speak and didn't challenge him on a single point, well, then people would be jumping down his throat about that too. Oh, how could you? You just let him say those things. You changed your format for Kanye. You didn't challenge him. You're really sitting here and letting him say all those things. So it was a lose-lose situation for him.
Tim didn't even challenge Kanye. That's the thing. All Tim said was, I don't agree with you, but can you elaborate? That's basically all he said. Tim didn't even challenge Kanye. In fact, Tim toned himself down for Kanye, and you can tell, like, he toned himself down for Kanye. Like, I have seen Tim, like, really just harp on people he disagrees with on his channel. Tim actually kind of sat there and was like, I disagree. Please explain why you think this way. That's all Tim did. And again, just by trying to have that conversation in general could have hurt the channel, but he was willing to have it because it's a big opportunity to have Kanye on the channel. I feel like maybe, again, if you're going to run for president, if you're going to say these things, if you're going to have the platform you do, I'm all for free speech, even if I disagree with you. But you have to explain why you believe these things and why this is part of your platform.
Right. If it hadn't been Tim, if it had been somebody on a debate stage and Ye is now running for president and the same thing happens, somebody asks him 3 times about the Jewish issue, is he just going to storm off? Is it going to be okay then too? Is it going to be like, oh, well,
Exactly. Can you imagine if
the moderator blew it? It's all their fault. That's why Kanye walked off. It's like, come on, man, grow up a little bit. Be able to handle it.
Can you imagine if Trump or Hillary were asked a question about things they've done or things they've said and they just walked off?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, Tim refused to say what Kanye wanted him to say. I think that's a big point. And that's the thing is like you should be able to carry on a conversation with somebody, even if Kanye sensed that Tim didn't like him or Tim was pushing him too much or challenging him too. Well, guess what? That's fucking life, man. You're gonna have people interviewing you who aren't kissing your ass all the time, who might like you but are just running their show and they're trying to remain neutral. You still have to explain yourself to these people. It's called charm. Like use your charm. If you get a sense that someone may not be totally on board with you, guess what? Win them over. That's why you're there. Win over the people watching who are skeptical of you. And I think that was just really stupid of him to walk off. He really missed out on an opportunity to explain himself, get more people to his side, show people a side of him that Hollywood, since they've been handling him so much, and who knows, trying to MK Ultra him, whatever, feed him crazy ass pills. Like, let's hear about that side of things.
And
So,
if you are tired of people accusing you of being something you're not, and you have the opportunity to go on, and again, I'm not going to say Kanye had this opportunity because he's Kanye West. Kanye West can go to any news outlet and talk to them if he wants to. But if you're running for president, you need to take up every media opportunity you have to show your best self. And that's not me saying to censor yourself. That is just how it is with politics.
Mhm.
People aren't going to vote for someone who just walks off in the middle of an interview. That's just how it is. For the people who say Tim blew the interview, I would like to know what you mean by that, how exactly Tim blew it. Don't get me wrong. If I was in Tim Pool's shoes, I would feel kind of stupid. I would feel like, oh my gosh, I could have interviewed Kanye West for 2 hours.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
feel like,
that
oh
thought.
man, what could I have done differently? But I would like to know what you guys think Tim could have done differently.
Right.
I don't think
It's
there's anything
so
else Tim could have done different.
easy for everyone to sit there and be like, "Oh, he sucks." No, he clearly doesn't suck. Tim Cast would not be where he is today. The show would not be where it is today if he didn't do the things precisely the way he does them. So to say, "Oh, he should have suddenly been a different person just for Kanye," it's not even a real argument. So I think he was always going to walk off. Maybe he went into that looking to be triggered. And it's like, sorry, you have to be a little bit tougher than that if you're on a huge platform like that. And he should have known going into it. And he did know because Tim did prep him. They did talk about which articles were going to be pulled up.
Tim preps everyone who goes on that show. So I don't want to hear he just went in. Tim will sit down with his guests and say, okay, don't swear, don't say this because we want to make sure the channel can stay up. But this is what we're going to focus on. Tim will sit down. I've seen it happen because I lived at Tim Pool's house for some time. Tim will sit with his guests and explain what they're going to go over. It's never just shooting things at their face, for them to dodge. It's never like that. So I just, here's the thing. And also for people saying, oh man, Tim should have changed his ways for Kanye or Ye or whatever he calls himself now. Tim did. If you actually watched Tim Pool's show in the past, Tim does not hold back. Tim was holding back, trying to be respectful as possible, open-minded as possible, willing to talk about whatever with Kanye just to keep him there. And even that wasn't enough. It sucks that Kanye left mid-interview. I'm sure Tim probably feels sucky about it too. Maybe Tim did blow it. But at the same time, I don't think there was anything else Tim could have done. Because
and he's not used to having guests walk off. Most guests want to be there, and they want to be there even through the hard parts and the challenging parts because they want to explain themselves and try to win people over who may disagree with them. Tim is not used to having be all right, a disagreement. Someone brings up a thing 3 or 4 times, and then he's not used to having people walk off. So he's also not used to being oh, please stay. And he's not going to lay down and make it easy and be oh no, let's pretend I'm not even here. I think he was himself, and he didn't operate from a position of, oh, I have whatever I have to do to keep this person here. He was trying to be as I guess genuine to himself as he could. But it's so easy for any of us to say, oh, he fucking blew it. It's fuck. He's the one with the opportunity. None of us had that opportunity. So what the fuck do we know?
Well, actually, Chris, you've had the opportunity several times.
Not with Kanye.
Oh, Kanye. I thought you were talking about Kanye. I'm that's the thing is, I will say this. It's a little funny that people are saying that Kanye blew the opportunity because it is Kanye West. But again, politics is different than pop culture because Kanye with pop culture, when you do an interview, you're actually doing a favor for the interviewer. When you're in politics, you need as many interviews as you can get, even on the smallest podcast, the biggest podcast, whatever. Once you're in politics, you need the interviewers more than they need you at that point.
Right.
So it's a whole, here's the thing. There are similar things when it comes to politics in Hollywood, but it's also a different level of who you are and how you present yourself, which I learned the hard way, of course. Again, politics is not the world for me. There's a reason I'm no longer in it. There's a reason I left. That's what I'm saying is that it's definitely a world where it's you gotta stick to your guns. You gotta stand your ground. You cannot blow with the wind. Like, you got to be a really strong person to get through politics. You also got to be a little bit of a grimy person to get through politics. So that's the thing. You really got to push through it. People are saying in the chat, I have to mention this. I know a lot of people, their opinions on this actually do matter to me. I do want to address them. Everyone's saying, well, Kanye got sick of repeating himself. Well, the thing is, Tim, the reason he kept wanting Kanye to answer the question was because Kanye wasn't answering the question Tim was trying to get him to answer, right? He just kept repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Like, oh yeah, and he was saying the Jews control the media, the Jews control this. Oh, who's they? Who's they? That wasn't answering the question of why he believes this. That wasn't answering the question of his perspective on the matter.
So maybe Tim could have reframed it like, tell me about why you feel this way. Tell me about your life and what led up to you believing this.
Did he ask that? I feel like he asked that. That was the
maybe
question.
He could have worded it nicer. I don't know. Again,
I don't think there's anything else Tim could have done differently.
Yeah. And it's so easy to just be like,
oh. I just think, honestly, I'm still kind of baffled. This is the timeline that we're living in when Kanye West goes on Tim Pool's show to talk about Jews in the media. Like, what matrix is this? Is it glitching? What's going on?
It's pretty neat. It's pretty funny. What a world. Who knows? Maybe we could be next. Ashton. Oh God, the super chat's coming in. Push-ups. Say the V word or I leave Hogwarts. Badge.
What's the real reason we can't say Voldemort's name?
Oh, Voldemort, right. Thunderstorm. I got new socks. Danish enhanced. This means I have enhanced abilities.
Good for you, Thunderstorm.
Is that a Harry Potter reference?
I don't. Oh, it's a Dobby reference, maybe. But
okay.
Does it matter if they're Danish socks? I would like to know.
I don't know. Who knows, Ashton? Where can people find you and follow you other than at your YouTube channel, which ends in 17/4/25?
Well, I fixed it while I was on here. I was
okay.
So I am Ashton Slytherin. That's where I'll be posting more vlogs and doing more things like that. I'm going to be developing a podcast fairly soon, so I'll definitely be updating that, whether it's going to be on the Ashton Slytherin channel or the Ashton Birdie channel, or I might even make it an OnlyFans exclusive. We will see. I'm on Twitter as the Ashton Blaze, and I'm on OnlyFans as Ashton Birdie. If you want to come hang out with me on stream, play some video games, talk some trash that I would not be able to post anywhere else on YouTube or anywhere else on the internet, honestly, you can go follow me there.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashton. Thank you to the chat for your comments and questions. And we will see you next time. 9 o'clock, I'll be here with that umbrella guy. So we'll see you back here. Bye.